Every iPhone you have ever owned, every AI model you have ever used, every GPU powering the data centers behind ChatGPT, Gemini, and every frontier system we have discussed in this series. They all run through the same place, one island, 35 kilometers wide at its narrowest point, 100 miles from the Chinese mainland, and right now, it manufactures over 90% of the world's most advanced chips. This is not a technology story. It is the most consequential geographic concentration of industrial power in the modern world. The company is called TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, founded in 1987. Today it holds approximately 70% of global foundry market share. Global market insights. But that number understates the real concentration. At the leading edge, the chips that power AI, defense systems, and advanced computing, TSMC produces approximately 92% of the world's supply. Cohere, 92% from one company, on one island. There is no second source. Read that again. There is no second source. Think about what depends on this. Every new iPhone, the CPUs and GPUs powering advanced laptops, the chips in high-end cars, and the processors in data centers running AI at scale. Even US defense systems use TSMC-made chips for AI, communications, and sensor applications. This is not a supply chain dependency. This is a single point of failure, embedded into the architecture of the entire global economy. Now ask the question nobody wants to answer directly. What happens if it breaks? According to analysis from the Hudson Institute, a significant disruption to Taiwan's semiconductor industry could affect as much as $1.6 trillion, roughly 8% of America's annual GDP alone. That is more economic damage than the 2008 financial crisis. Bloomberg Economics puts the global figure at approximately $10 trillion. $10 trillion in a single disruption event, and most companies are holding only 4 to 8 weeks of chip inventory. 4 to 8 weeks. That is the entire buffer between normal operation and a global technology shutdown. So why is everything concentrated here? The answer is not luck. It is decades of intentional design. Taiwan built its semiconductor industry through a combination of government investment, engineering talent, and a foundry model that nobody else had attempted at scale. TSMC pioneered the idea that chip design and chip manufacturing could be separated. Fabless companies, companies that design chips but own no factories, became the dominant model, and TSMC became the factory for all of them. Apple, Nvidia, AMD, Qualcomm, Broadcom, none of them own manufacturing capacity. Their entire product roadmap depends on TSMC allocation. This created a dependency so deep that even the companies whose valuations are measured in trillions cannot function without access to one facility in one country that most of their customers could not find on a map 5 years ago. The world is now trying to fix this, but the fix is revealing just how deep the problem runs. The United States passed the CHIPS Act, billions in subsidies, a new TSMC facility in Arizona. TSMC has now pledged over $100 billion in US investment across 6 facilities. This sounds significant. Here is the reality. Building a new leading-edge fab takes 3 to 4 years and costs over $10 billion. TSMC, Arizona's volume production of 2nm chips, the current leading edge, is not targeted until 2030. And even then, more than 80% of TSMC's most advanced chips will still be fabricated in Taiwan for the next 5 years. The Arizona facility does not solve the concentration, it reduces it marginally, on a timeline measured in decades. There is also a problem the CHIPS Act cannot fix with money. TSMC delayed its Arizona facility's opening by a year, citing a shortage of specialist workers. The knowledge required to run a leading-edge semiconductor fab does not exist in sufficient quantity outside of Taiwan. Construction costs for an identical plant in the US run 4 to 5 times higher than in Taiwan. 4 to 5 times. So even when the political will exists, and the capital is committed, and the timelines are aggressive, the gap between intention and capability is measured in years and hundreds of billions of dollars. Now add the geopolitical layer. Researchers at ScienceDirect identified maritime and aerial quarantine as the action China is most likely to take around Taiwan before 2027. Not invasion, quarantine, a selective blockade that disrupts the supply of raw materials, chemicals, and energy that TSMC depends on to operate. Taiwan's last nuclear reactor was decommissioned in May 2025. The island now derives 83% of its energy from imported fossil fuels. 97% of its total energy supply is imported. A blockade does not need to touch a single fab. It just needs to cut the energy supply. And within weeks, the most critical industrial facility in the world goes dark. This is what geopolitical strategists call the Silicon Shield. The idea that Taiwan's centrality to the global economy is itself a deterrent against conflict. That no government would risk triggering a $10 trillion economic disruption. It is a reasonable theory. It depends entirely on rational actors, making rational calculations, under conditions that are becoming less predictable every year. In December 2025, China conducted what were described as the largest Taiwan-focused military drills ever recorded. The shield is real, but it is not unlimited. Here is what this geography episode is actually about. We have spent the last block examining how AI concentrates power. Who controls the infrastructure? Who controls the money? Who controls the decisions? Every single one of those conversations leads back to this island. Because without the chips that TSMC produces, there is no frontier AI. There is no compute race. There is no sovereign AI investment in the Gulf. There is no CHIPS Act. There is no export control regime. Every system of power we have discussed rests on a foundation that sits 100 miles from a government that has never accepted Taiwan's independence. That is not a reason for panic. It is a reason for precision. Understanding exactly where the foundation is the first step to understanding what gets built on top of it. In the next episode, we leave Taiwan and move to the water. Because running through the ocean just south of here is a stretch of sea that carries 30% of global maritime trade, sits above significant energy reserves, and has been the site of escalating confrontation between major powers for over a decade. The South China Sea is not just a geography story, it is an infrastructure story, a power story, and increasingly, a story about what happens when the rules of the ocean are being rewritten by the country that wants to control it.